this is what is required. The first one is attending. All of you are attending to me or to the slide. It is very difficult for us to attend more than 10 minutes to a particular task. Even when we ride our cars or bikes, we don't see straight to the road, do we? We don't see straight. We always, what is happening here and there, as if these are the people who are concerned about you and you are not concerned about the road. So when you yourself are not able to attend to the task, it is very clearly written in the manual when you purchase a vehicle. It is very clearly written, keep your focus on the road, or keep your eyes on the road. Don't see here and there. Very clearly in the manual it is written, but you don't do it because it is very difficult. It's human tendency. Everything is happening in our brain. You cannot overload brain with all these attending skills. But to some extent, we need to have them attend to a particular task. Let's say for a minute, let's say for 2 minutes, let's say for 5 minutes, or maybe more than that. Sitting behavior, again interesting sitting behavior. It is, yes, it's difficult. It's difficult. We don't sit at all. Even in office, we don't sit at all. When we get a chance to drink tea, we always go and try to check what the other fellow is doing. Isn't it? I don't know how you people are sitting. You are forced to sit because it was announced that after this session only you will be getting your certificates. So that is the reward, that is the motivation that you have to stay back. Maybe I'm wrong. But still, when we talk about the sitting behavior or the sitting tolerance of a person with autism spectrum disorder, can you imagine how difficult it is for him to sit? You can't imagine when he's sitting on the chair is pricking him. The color of the chair is not at all suitable for him. Maybe some smell is coming from the chair and he's feeling so unhappy about that. And imagine you are making the child to come to a cinema theater in the dark room and asking him to sit and watching a movie, how difficult it is. You will be having smell of perfumes, you will be having smell of sweats, the popcorn smells and this and that. You yourself cannot sit. How can you ask the child to sit? It's difficult. But there has to be a time frame for a child to do an activity while sitting. The next one is developing eye contact. I'm sure it is one of the most basic part of an eye contact. But I throw a question to you, is it necessary for us to make eye contact? It's an open-ended question, not a closed-ended question. Is it necessary for us to make an eye contact? I can see my paper and I can deliver my talk. I need not see that whether you understand or not, or whether you are nodding your head or not, or some gentleman, same beard, is smiling or not. This is important because we need to understand the perspective of others. That is what theory of mind says. Understanding the perspective of others. And our politicians, I hope there is no politician here. Our politicians are very good in understanding the perspective of others. When they start speaking, they see the faces of the audience who are sitting in the front. They cannot see at the back because it's a huge crowd. They will see, and then when they start speaking, suddenly they will feel that the manifesto which they have presented was last year's manifesto and they need to change it. They can see from the public's view that the public will be scratching the head or maybe making some faces, and suddenly the person will get the information. And he tries to change his topic. and he tries to make it more lively, bringing in some other facts. But people with autism spectrum disorder cannot understand that aspect. See, what the politicians are doing, they are deceiving people, I suppose. They cannot deceive. People with autism spectrum disorder can't deceive people. Imagine this world full of people with autism spectrum disorder. I think everything will be falling in place and corruption will never happen, isn't it? Following basic instructions. So if the child's receptive language is much delayed, the teaching instructions definitely is going to be difficult. And again, basic instructions is related to what we understand by our brain. Turn taking and waiting skills, very important in socialization, social skills. And these concepts can be definitely taught by using simple and some informative games. Next is the academic level variations in children having autism spectrum disorder. And research has demonstrated that there is a lot of academic achievement variations. I want to read a two-line report which the media has printed. Media reports and popular opinion often either portray individuals with autism spectrum disorder as academically impaired or perpetuate the stereotype of autistic genius. For example, when considering the mathematical skills of individual with ESD, the image many of you would think of Raymond, Dustin Hoffman, who played Raymond in the film The Rain Man. More recently, the memoir, The Spark, a mother's story of nurturing genius and autism's chronicle life of Jacob Bennett, a young man who has autism and is believed to be smarter than Einstein. And research has pointed out that these examples and many others have created a stereotype representation of individuals with high function autism spectrum disorder as being excellent mathematicians, statisticians, scientists, and engineers. Such stereotype belief may inappropriately influence our expectations for individuals with high functioning and may affect the remedial efforts. So it should not happen that we always think about genius and impairment, because if it's genius we will not work on that. If impairment, we will work like working with an intellectual impairment person. This is the important aspect, that is the universal design of learning, which is a boon to autism spectrum disorder. And this is now the current trend, the current evidence that is going not only in the country, not only in our country, but abroad also. And we have, in our country, we have been doing quite a good number of work on universal design of learning. If you happen to see SOPAN, there is Dr. Rubina Lal, who is the founder trustee of SOPAN in Mumbai. Mary Barua, who is from Action for Autism. And from Spastic Society of Karnataka, and then you have Snehadhara, so many people, they are working on universal design of learning. Universal design of learning, basically an idea which was originated from the architect or from the building. Universal design is something which should be universal for all, not only for people with disabilities, but people from all walks of life. The lift is necessary, ramp is necessary, curb cuts is necessary. And this universal design of learning came from that design of architecture. And it says you have multiple means of representation, multiple means of action and expression, and multiple means of engagement. With these three things, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to share this, that we are doing quite a good work in inclusive education in South India, definitely yes, but even in the northern part of the country. There is a Bala Association, that is Building as a Learning Aid, they call it as Bala, by Kabir and the team. They have utilized the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan schools, and they have made everything displayed on the boards, on the walls, on the steps, so that children doesn't have to sit in the class and learn step by step. They just move out, they just move out on the corridor, on the steps, and they just see and learn. So functional academic aids and gadgets which are required for independent living. All of you know, we have been discussing about these aids which are particularly useful for people having autism spectrum disorder. You have low technology, mid technology, high technology. And recently, I think most of you have seen this, how Amazon's Alexa is helping my child with disability. I think Sophia, the humanoid, can also be a great help in future for our people with autism spectrum disorder. If you see the one next right, two things I found it very interesting. One is cards and one is the shoe horn. Most simplest thing, a gadget that can make a person independent without using anybody's help. I have seen people struggling to put the shoe with their fingers. And when you struggle, and if the shoe is tight, imagine a child with autism spectrum disorder putting it, is making all the meltdowns, all the tantrums, everything. So if these simple gadgets which are available in every nook and corner of our house used, I think independent living can be the best and the sophistication can be taken forward. Before I close, I just want to make a small quote from Hallie Moss, who said, "I might hit developmental and societal milestones in a different order than my peers, but I am able to accomplish these small victories on my own time." Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.